Thank you. The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Colorado's 8th District for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to our ranking member as well, and of course to our witnesses for taking the time to come today. We need more energy. I think everybody agrees on that. My local electric utility, for instance, says that they're going to need 3 times as much energy in the next 10 years as they have today, and that's after already doubling in the last 10 years. Unfortunately, my Democrat colleagues are pushing the most expensive form of energy on Americans, and that's not conjecture. That is from the Democrat-controlled Colorado Energy Office, which commissioned a study that found last year that relying solely on variable power and battery storage is the most expensive option out there. It would cost Coloradans alone $17 billion extra, or an additional $2,800 per person. And so to lower costs for Americans and Coloradans, we need an all-of-the-above balanced strategy that includes reliable, affordable, safe baseload power from nuclear generation. This is something that's important to me in my district because we had the last operational nuclear generating facility in Colorado at the Fort St. Vrain facility. Unfortunately, like many other nuclear plants, this one was decommissioned, and to this day there remain far too many roadblocks and lack of incentives to invest in clean, affordable, safe, and reliable nuclear generation, with many Colorado Democrats still opposing nuclear energy. And so my first question will be to Ms. Korsenek. Last fall, I introduced a bipartisan permitting reform framework alongside my Democrat colleague, Rep. Peters, which was endorsed by the Problem Solvers Caucus. One key provision which was mentioned in your testimony was ending mandatory hearings for nuclear facility construction. Can you explain how the current system adds unnecessary delays to bringing generation online and how modernizing the process can benefit the industry?
Certainly, thank you. The mandatory hearings, and I know it just came up in the last question, the mandatory hearings add like in the zip code of 6 months, potentially, at the end of the process. And even the NRC agrees that the mandatory hearings are something that can be removed. It gives you the impression that it's public engagement, but there is not actually public engagement in the mandatory hearing process at the end. And so it just becomes a bit of unnecessary administrative work that is done in that process, and it can be done elsewhere, not in series.
Does removing those impact in any way the safety of the nuclear facility?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Going to Mr. Wagner from the Idaho National Lab. I know we've been talking mostly about fission today, but I wanted to discuss fusion as well as we look to the next decade and to President Trump and Secretary Wright's roadmap to a commercial fusion plant within a decade. I actually just toured Exemer Energy south of my district with Secretary Wright. They are a national leader in inertial fusion commercialization, and we had a chance to talk about that technology. Can you comment on INL's work on the tritium fuel cycle technologies, things like breeding and recovery, as well as using thick liquids to breed tritium, extract the fusion energy, and protect the structural walls from the fusion radiation?
Yeah, so thank you very much for that question. A lot of times people think about Idaho National Laboratory and they think about fission energy, which is our primary focus. But as you acknowledged, we do a lot of work in fusion. And so as an applied national laboratory, applied energy national laboratory, our role in fusion is focused on the practical challenges of deployment, particularly the tritium fuel cycle that you referred to, those technologies, and the material performance around those. So at the laboratory, we have unique capabilities relevant to this. They're born out of our fission part of our laboratory, things like the Advanced Test Reactor for materials and fuels performance testing, things like the STAR facility for handling tritium, where we support research in the tritium breeding, in recovery, tritium material interface, and interactions under radiation and thermal considerations, all things that are very important for tritium breeding and management in fusion facilities. And so we maintain those facilities primarily for our fission R&D program, but they have direct relevance to the fusion. So there's a nice leveraging that happens there. I'd also note, born out of our fission related...
I'll give you like 15 more seconds.
Oh, sorry.
I got one more that I want to ask.
Pardon me?
I said I got one more question, so if you can get 10 more seconds.
I just say also in addition to that, we are leveraging our multi-physics state-of-the-art modeling and simulation capabilities for this tritium research and design and analysis as well. And then our public-private partnership experience on the fission side is being leveraged in the fusion side as we work with private companies on their efforts to commercialize.
Awesome. My final 25 seconds, Mr. William, Ms. Korsenik, we get a lot of uranium in Colorado. Can you talk about what would happen if we have the continued imports of Chinese nuclear fuel to the U.S. supply system?
In about
I'll
12
jump in.
seconds.
I'll jump in real quick. We absolutely want to mine uranium here in the United States, and we have the capability to do that. We also have to be thoughtful that uranium is a global business, and it's important that we stay involved in the global sector. And so I think it's just important that we look at having a diversified fuel supply.
Mine more of it. Got it. Thanks. Yield back.